that Kenny described?
Yeah, I do, Wolf. And before we talk about any of the particulars, I'd like to make or offer this thought. How can anyone listen to Kenny Smith, not just how thoughtful he is, but how heartfelt it is, or Robert Ory, or Chris Webber, or Doc Rivers in the last few days, or Dominic Smith of the Mets switching over to baseball, or to their white teammates, Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals, Ryan Tannehill of the Tennessee Titans, Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions? How can anyone look at that and dismiss it as political? What you get coming from, and this is important, George W. Bush would not have responded this way. Barack Obama obviously would not have responded this way. Despite their other political differences, they were able to have empathy and understanding of people besides those who are part of their base. Instead, what we get here is a dismissive, a contemptuous, and an oppositional stance. Distinctions could be made. You could say, depending on where you fall on the political spectrum, you could say, look, as Kenny Smith just did, most cops are good cops, but whatever fraction of them are not must be weeded out, not just because of these instances that we're looking at now, but because, importantly, it resonates because of the historical antecedents that goes back literally centuries of state use of power against African Americans. You could make that distinction and still support good cops. You could make the valid distinction between the very righteous cause of Black Lives Matter and the political organization Black Lives Matter, whose motivations and agenda could rightly be criticized or questioned. And you could certainly decry, as Joe Biden did yesterday in unequivocal terms, rioting, looting, vandalism, not just because it's criminal and wrong, but because it undermines a righteous cause. You could do all those things, but at the same time, embrace the humanity and show some empathy toward what our African American fellow citizens are feeling in this moment. And it resonates with them deeply. And if you're a human being, it doesn't matter what your demographic is, if you're a human being and you can't relate to that and you can't care about that, I just can't fathom where you're coming from.
Yeah, well said.